So, have you ever thought about how do you manifest when your current reality is the complete opposite of what you want? Because let's be honest, most of us aren't manifesting in the best conditions. We're typically manifesting when we got a lot of bills, our relationships aren't great, we're feeling disappointed, tired, confused, and just overall overwhelmed. So, if you've ever thought to yourself, how do I manifest when I feel this way? I'm discouraged. Am I ruining my manifestation because I'm upset? And do I have to ignore my reality in order to change it? So, today we're going to dive deep into this. But before we get started, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Wendy, and I teach real world manifesting that is practical, grounded, and effective. If you like me and find that manifesting is a process for you and you like my style, please hit the like button below. And if you want some clear direction, schedule a coaching session with me, okay? All right. So let's talk about one of the biggest misconceptions there are about manifestation. And it is the idea that you always have to feel positive or that you should ignore what's happening right now in your reality. Or you are to pretend your current reality doesn't even exist. And no, that is not what you're supposed to do. Really, when you do that, you are stopping your manifestation. And what's happening is that your current reality is just your simple old momentum. So it's the result of previous beliefs, old patterns, and emotional habits. And the best thing is that it's not forever and it's not permanent. So you don't manifest by denying what's happening. You manifest by changing how you relate to what's happening for you right now. So the first thing is a lot of times people want to fight reality. And when you do that, it's going to delay your manifestation. So what usually happens is when you don't like your current situation, you resist it, or you might argue with it, or you judge yourself for feeling bad about it. But resistance does not remove your reality. Essentially, it's even worse. It's going to cement it. So when you're constantly thinking, why is this happening? I hate that I'm in this situation. Is this ever going to work? What you're really doing is emotionally rehearsing the state that you totally don't want and you're trying to leave. So acceptance does not mean that you're giving up. It just means that you're saying, this is where I'm at right now, and I can still move forward. So you want to shift into grounded manifesting. So in order to do that, you want to practice things. So instead of saying, how do I feel better about my situation, or how can I feel better when things are going like this, you can ask, who am I going to be while I'm here? You manifest your life not by escaping your reality because you cannot escape it, but by showing up differently inside of it. So essentially, you can feel disappointed without being defeated, right? You can feel sad without believing it's permanent. We've all experienced points in our life where we've been sad and we know it's not permanent. So feeling sad, but not believing that it's permanent is okay. And you can be uncertain about certain things without assuming failure. So you can be uncertain, but just not assuming failure. So this emotional neutrality is not forced positivity, right? And if you don't do forced positivity, but give this neutrality, it's where your manifestation will essentially accelerate. So there's a thing that I like to call the AND method. And it's just a tool that is essentially helpful for you, and it's been helpful for me. So the AND method is, instead of saying, I'm struggling, and I wish things were different. You could say, I'm struggling and things are still working out for me. See the change, the shift in that? Another thing is, instead of saying, I feel lonely, so my manifestation isn't working, you could say instead, and you should say, I feel lonely and I am still becoming the version of me who is deeply loved. So this will keep you honest about your situation and your reality, and it'll keep you from arguing with yourself. And this way, you're moving beyond it. You're accepting that you have been in these situations, but you're putting out into the universe that you're becoming the best version of yourself. So, something important to understand is that manifestation doesn't happen at the finish line, it happens in the middle. So, what does that really mean? So what I want you to think about is, what would the version of you who trusts life do today? Because when your manifestation is not here, you have to think and behave like the person who is experiencing that. So what would the version of the you behave like if you had your manifestation? How would you feel about life? How would the future version of you respond to this moment, the person who already has everything? So when you're thinking about that, you don't need to do anything big. Something small would be speaking kindly to yourself, okay? Like this is being in the middle, right? Not chasing validation. Resting instead of forcing, okay? And then also, just understanding that you can choose curiosity over panic. So these small shifts will signal to your subconscious, I am supported, change is allowed, I am safe. So when emotions come up, you need to let them pass. You're not going to ruin your manifestation by feeling emotions. So that's important to know, but you delay them when you identify with the emotions. And I think that's what's really important, because there's a big difference between I feel anxious and I am anxious. And this is who I am. You hear a lot of people say, I have anxiety. Yeah, I've had it my whole life. So you want to remember to not identify with it and to understand that feelings are like the weather. They're not your identity. They come and go, and that you're allowed to feel things. Just don't identify with them. Let them move through you without building a story around them. And the moment that you stop panicking about your emotions, they lose control, which is essentially what you need. So your life isn't going to change because you have forced positivity, right? We've talked about that. It will change because you stop abandoning yourself. Manifestation is not about escaping the present because it's right here, right? You're not going to escape it. It's about meeting yourself fully here in the present, so you're no longer creating from fear, because when you create from fear, that's when things do not work out. It's important that you know you are allowed to be uncertain, to be hopeful at the same time that you're experiencing this. You're allowed to be human. And if you can do all of that, that balance is powerful. All right, guys. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments where you are right now, not where you think you should be. And I want you to remember that your current reality, it's not a dead end, it's just a doorway. And before I close, I want to say to you, you deserve this life you are manifesting. Keep looking forward and remember, there is so much good out there, and I wish you the best of luck.